Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you, West? How are we? Rabbit Hole Library. I'm assuming that's Kirsty. Cannot be anyone else really, can it? That wascally wabbit. Yes. No problems with the audio, no echo or anything like that. All doing fine, yep. Happy days. Good. Well, we got Mandy and Kirsty so far, and Botrix has correctly joined the channel yet again. He must be wearing his evening suit. I can only assume that's what that means. And despite the fact that I tend to go live at the same time on the same day every week, my daughter has just rang looking for a lift. Half-wit, absolute half-wit. So either she's going to get a taxi home this week. She's going to have to start thinking on about what time it is and what day it is, or I might have to put these back till 8 o'clock just to make sure I've got a little bit of a chance of picking her up with a social life which is 100 times better than mine. Oh, hang on. Sorry, didn't have the Ujima flip, literally Ujima flip up on the camera. Daniel, how you doing, mate? So I can see myself at the top of the camera. Apparently that was better for making eye contact, apparently. But there we go. It is still ridiculously warm, despite the fact that it's much cooler than it has been the last couple of days. For some reason this house just retains heat, apart from during the winter, when this room in particular is abysmal. But there we go. Hang on. So it's been the air show the last couple of days. Nowhere near as good as it was the last few years, but I was surprised they actually went ahead today because we had all kinds of thunderstorms planned, or forecast rather. And we did have a little bit of rumble earlier on, but it's been okay, and they went ahead anyway. So for the last couple of days, I've been trying to get out and get some video. I managed to get hold of the Lancaster going overhead, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. And I only watched the film, The Dam Busters, a couple of nights ago. So watching that film about how they went and bombed the dams over in the Ruhr Valley during the war with the bouncing bomb, and then seeing one of the planes, that kind of plane was the one that went over there. It's quite strange seeing. I've seen it loads of times. It's here most years, but just because it's so fresh in the memory, and the sound of it, absolutely incredible. Louise, how you doing? You can't stay long as you've hit the wall. Yes, I know the feeling. Definitely know that feeling. Yes, the Great North Run robbed the Red Arrows, as did something yesterday. Something to do with their home base, conditions at their home base meant they could only do a flyby rather than a full 15-20 minute display. I had to drop my daughter off both days, yesterday and today, just after 10 o'clock, and yesterday it was absolutely chocker. Just from where the park and ride car parks were, just a sea of people queuing to get onto the beach. Today it was a lot quieter. Town was quieter as well. And I don't know if that's because of all the caravans people had already set up and settled. But it was absolutely chocker yesterday. Definitely brought a lot of money into the town, which can only ever be a good thing. But yeah, it's I always like the air show. It's usually better when it's a little bit later in the year. I think it was July last year, so it was a bit too hot and too sunny. Difficult to keep your eye on things when the sun's blaring, even though it was quite sunny today as well at times. A little bit of overcast cloud made it a bit easier to see what was going on at times. But yeah, Blackpool runway way too wet and the cloud cover was too low to display. I didn't see that, but yeah, that does explain a lot. So they just, my daughter was a bit disappointed because she works down by the front. She said all he did was just flew across dead quick and disappeared, that was it. So I can imagine quite a few people were disappointed, but if that's what it was, then there's nothing can be done about it. It is the UK. We are at the mercy of the weather here at times. Nothing we can do about it, but we can't really moan. We don't get anywhere near as cold as the rest of Europe during the winter. We have plenty of rain, so the place is green. Looks lush. It's gorgeous. But it was interesting. That Lancaster, jeez, the sound of it. I mean, we had the windows open because it's been dead hot, but even so, even with the windows closed, you could have heard it. I can imagine that sound must have put the frights up people in Germany when they heard it. The low rumble from miles away. You must be able to hear it from miles and miles away, getting louder and louder as it got closer. And you knew what was going to happen. Must be absolutely horrible. Louise the Typhoon, I just about did see it, but I think the whole of the air show this year must have been concentrated on the beach. They made everything fairly low to the beach, so where I am 2 miles away, we never got to see it. Got to see it go in the air a couple of times, flew up quite high very quickly, but not much. I caught a Hurricane. I think I might have caught a Spitfire as well, and the Chinook helicopter. But apart from that, it was just the Lancaster Bomber was the only one really. Everything else just pretty much down by the beach. But my dad was talking to one of his ex-pupils. They live a bit further out, past Ormskirk, a little bit higher up. They said from where they are, you could just look down at Southport and you can see absolutely everything going on. So I think he got some decent footage of it. Would have been nice actually if I'd have known that. I could have gone a little bit further out myself. Maybe onto Parbold Hill and seen what it looked like from there. You can't believe they charge for the beach. Yes, they do every year. Normally they have a lot going on down there. I don't know if it's worth it or not, but obviously there's things that I can't see, the things that you can't see from the rest of the town. They normally have troops doing mock battles and exercises on the beach. So I suppose if you're on there, you wanted to be really close to the action. It might be worth it, but for the planes normally, if you're anywhere within the town, you'll be able to see what's going on. So yeah, strange to charge for it. But it is busy, and if it was that much of a rip-off or people didn't think it was worth it, they wouldn't come. So, just whatever, it must work, and it's been going on for years. Normally, see, this is how bad it is. Normally, you go and stand in the back garden and watch the planes going over. No chance of that this year. I had to go in the front just to get any kind of view of anything. And most of that was closer towards the beach. £8 a ticket. I think my daughter works in Pleasureland, so you can go in there and go on the sort of the arcadey rides and what have you, and you can watch everything from in there. So I think people used to use that, but they've been quiet themselves the last couple of days, which is very odd because it looks like an absolutely fantastic place. You'll be able to catch everything that's going on. There's food and drink there, there's amenities. It would be ideal, I would have thought. But you never know. Never know what's in people's heads. I know yesterday there was, I think there's people stuck on Marine Drive, which is, if you ever see me doing sunset sort of videos or the pictures that I take down by the pier hats Marine Drive, there's people stuck on that coming into the town, just bumper to bumper. So it must have been shocker, must have been very, very busy. It's surprising what is popular around the UK. There's some very, very strange things that we have that you think would be popular that aren't, and things that aren't that suddenly everyone turns up for. But Southport needs stuff like this desperately. The flower show that was on recently, anything to try and bring a little bit of tourist money into the town is desperately needed. But it's not a poor town by any stretch of the imagination. There are some poor areas, but it's a fairly affluent town. Lots of footballers, lots of retired people, businessmen, lots of cash. But of course, the rich people are rich because they never spend the bloody stuff. Or if they do, they don't spend it here. You know, piss off to the Seychelles and spend a few quid there. But yeah, we need the money. Like I'm sure all the towns on the northwest coast, North Wales coast, sorry, will be the same, won't they, Mandy? I know they used to be chocker when I was a kid. Everyone went to North Wales from Liverpool. I mean, the whole of that North Wales coast was heaving. Now it's a shadow of its former self, unfortunately. Yet the musical fireworks should be good. I took my daughter, and it was superb. But because it's a bit late on in the year, it was pissing down, and it's on Victoria Park, and the field was soaking. So she was covered in mud and miserable, as well as being happy at the same time. You know what kids are like. I was miserable, but happy. Fireworks were great. Just would have been nice if it had been a dry day. Yes, the Midlands as well. But seaside towns don't normally get any kind of influx of money unless it is from holiday makers. So like I say, North Wales used to be where everyone from Liverpool went. I know Midlands, same thing, North Wales. Midlanders, suppose Midlanders are quite lucky, aren't they? If they want to they go to North Wales, they can go to South Wales or down to Bristol, North East, up to Scarborough and places like that. Or they can venture a little bit further south. So the Midlands are ideally placed for getting around. Although you wouldn't think so, would you? But yeah, you watch fireworks from your sofa. Do you want to let us into that? Is there someone out the back letting them off? Next door neighbours? It used to be like that when we lived in the pub. There was a family around the corner, I think a Chinese family. I don't want to sound like it's racial stereotypes, but they did like to celebrate any milestone with fairly decent fireworks, not just a couple of little whiz bang, no, proper fireworks. So every time there's a birthday or an anniversary, or one of the kids did well in sort of exams or college or something, they'd have a decent little firework display, which was great. Apart from, there was one year, in fact there was one year when we had the pub that we were in, they sent us a load of fireworks that we were supposed to do our own little display with, and I don't know where they got them from, but on one of the things it got a tube that had to be concreted into the ground, and it had Ministry of Defence written on it, and this firework was bigger than an onion, massive looking thing. At the time the road outside was dug up because there was a gas main with a leak, and they were trying to get us to set off fireworks. If we set off fireworks this 5th of November, by January they'll have to redo the whole of the map. So no, it didn't get done. Out the front, straight view to a big display. Is it still talking about the fireworks, man? Yeah, or is it the whole, out the back fireworks, the whole coastline? That's fair enough. I can imagine as well, being where you are, that part of the country, the skies will be fairly dark. There's not as much light pollution as there is in the big cities. I can imagine it looks quite good. I wonder what the fireworks look like from the top of Mount Snowdon. I bet that looks good. I wonder if there's any videos of that on YouTube. I should check, really, shouldn't I? I can imagine you can see the whole of the coast, and you can see the likes of Liverpool as well, and possibly on a nice day, on a clear day, Manchester. You'll be able to see loads from up there. I think I come home from work one bonfire night, and they'd already started. On a train on the way home, you could see the whole of the Wirral. There was fireworks going off and everywhere until I got back. It was strange. It was obviously pitch black by the time I was leaving at 7:30 at night. too cold up there in November. There's people on top of Mount Everest where it's minus 40 degrees. There's people living at the South Pole. Never mind too cold up bleeding, snowing. I bet you there'd be 3 Geordie girls up there wearing short skirts and no jumpers. I'm telling you, they are bred different up there, unfortunately. I did remember there's a YouTube video actually on Boca Juniors. I think they were playing River Plate in the big derby, the Buenos Aires derby. And there's a plane going over there coming into land somewhere. And whoever it was took a video, because when in that stadium before the game, all the fans set off fireworks. And it is like nothing I've seen before. It's absolutely incredible. Even if you don't like football, just this plane going over and seeing what was coming up out of that ground, unbelievable. Yeah, the fireworks start there as soon as they appear in the shops. They don't even have to appear in the shops anymore, do they? I mean, just you can Amazon them to the front door, or you can pretty much get them all year round, which is ridiculous. Yeah, fireworks. I've got a bit of an issue with fireworks as well. I don't mind them, but ever since that big incident in Enschede, which is the town in the Netherlands where I lived, they had a disaster there where there was a fireworks factory went up and killed loads of people. I always worry about fireworks, not just factories where they're kept, but if people have got a load of them, they don't realise how powerful they are and how dangerous. You think to yourself, well, it's just a firework, but you know, it's not. If you put enough of them together, it's a bomb, to be honest with you. So you've got to be really careful with stuff like that. We haven't had any in the back garden for a long time. I mean, thankfully the kids aren't kids anymore, you know. Jess is 17. As much as she likes fireworks, it's not going to be in the back garden with a bleeding sparkler. It'll be the firework display down the Vicky Park or something. Yeah, Hadwick it was, wasn't it? It was like a bomb city. That's the thing that scared me. It was the fact that it did look like it was Iraq or something. If someone would have just told you this is Basra, I'd have believed them straight away. And you don't think that fireworks can do that kind of damage, but geez, they didn't have to do a hell of a lot of damage. And even just for a couple of days, we were waiting to hear from people. I'm sure they don't live anywhere near there, but have they moved? Are they going past in the car when it happened? It's stupid and it's paranoid, but as soon as you hear from someone on Facebook, we're all right, everyone's okay, no one that we know is hurt. It's a little bit better, but still, enough people lost their lives in that, so it's very dangerous. And it's not nice for the animals either, is it? I mean, we haven't got any animals anymore apart from my family, you know, my daughter especially, a little animal that she is. We had a dog years ago and that used to hate him, and that was bad enough, but now, that was just one night. Now it's 3 or 4 days leading up to it, 3 or 4 days afterwards. Like Mandy said, as soon as they come in the shop, people are setting them off. How do we know we didn't lose anyone? Everyone was okay. None of our friends lost anyone either. So it sounds stupid saying it was all right, because it wasn't. Even though it wasn't people that we knew, people lost their lives. So we've still got a lot of fond feelings for that city. And anybody losing their lives is horrible in that kind of way. But never like to see anything happening to your adopted town or city that you've lived in. Yeah, the fireworks on New Year's Eve are absolutely terrible. Everyone's out on the street setting them off drunkenly. My dad almost set fire to his hair by going to throw a firework, and he had long, well, afro-ish hair at that point. Didn't realise there was a fun fire. Yeah, I remember that from being over there. It's a bit of a free-for-all, isn't it? Everyone's on the ale just outside and fireworks are going off down the streets and all kinds of things. Mind you, I suppose in the 1980s no one really cared. Just go out and do what you felt like. Different now. Now we've got health and safety trying to stop people from killing themselves. It is slightly different. Yeah, I've seen that as well. I've seen it a few times in the Netherlands, people losing their lives and kids losing their fingers and their eyes and things. And yet, it never seems to stop. I've never seen any kind of government intervention or campaigns to try and get people to stop using them or to calm down using them. Just seems to be, well, that's what we do over here, and then that's the price we pay. Very, very strange. Um, it is the Darwin Awards. Um, yeah, our adverts to this day are absolutely seared on my brain. The public information films, the worst than any horror film I've ever seen in my life. Which is why I think Inside Number 9 did a fantastic episode, sort of based around the style of a public information film. Absolutely superb. Very, very dark, very funny, but they nailed exactly what they looked like. I think there's been a few YouTube videos of Americans reacting to British public information films. I don't think they realise just how dark TV can get, and that these weren't films, these were just adverts that were shown to try and, well, it's not even to try and influence kids, is it, or to educate them. It's to scare the shit out of them. And let's face it, it worked. Yeah, the electric pylon one, definitely. That to this day, I think that's. I'm sure I had nightmares about that when I was in my 40s. It's unbelievable. Alright, so there are more and more laws locally, but there's just no enforcement. Yeah, I know over there they treat treat adults like adults, um, and you are trusted not to do stupid things because it will come back and bite you. But at some point, there has to be someone come in and go, like, this isn't working. It's happening too often. It's too dangerous. We need to chill out slightly. We'll put a display on for you, but just don't be lobbing them in the street. We don't want cars exploding every 5 seconds. There's a discussion about the national law against fireworks. I can imagine there will be a discussion, but I don't think it's going to end up being put in place. They don't, not enough public support. That I'm sure would be in most places. It seems to be a growing thing at the moment where, don't try and tell us what to do, even though it might be the best thing for us. Don't tell us what to do. Whether it's COVID vaccines or burning fossil fuels or kids getting blown up in school. No, don't tell us what to do. Sometimes you need to be told what to do, because otherwise people end up in a lot of pain, suffering, or dead. Silent fireworks. I don't know, do they exist? I suppose nowadays they probably could. I mean, obviously you need a little bit of a bang for the whatever is the chemicals to sort of explode out, but you don't need them to be as loud as they are. They use a lot of gunpowder just to make the noise because that's part of the spectacle of things. The sound being every bit as important as the vision. Mandy likes the bangs. There you go. There's the next bit of merch. T-shirt with Mandy likes the bangs on them. Or do you mean you like a fringe? One of your dogs is very scared of the bangs. Yeah, I think there's very few dogs that aren't in some way scared of them. Some are absolutely terrified. Have you seen the drone displays? I've seen videos. I would love to go and see one in person. They look absolutely incredible. If someone would have said to me, even when I started gaming, I started gaming in the 70s, I guess, because we had a grandstand Pong machine. So I had 4 versions of Pong. There was tennis, table tennis, breakout, and something else, and I can't remember what it was. It had veneer, wood veneer on the side of it. Proper old school. Then I had a Amstrad CPC 464, back in 1980 something, 1985 was it? So my gaming sort of goes back to then, and I've been gaming ever since. But if someone would have told me at that point that there had been drones, I'd have said you are taking the piss. If they then told me that there could be drone displays that look like Space Invaders happening right in front of my eyes, I probably would have fainted. It is bizarre. It's lovely how far we've come in terms of technology. Not necessarily the best thing for us, but yeah, it is great. Speaking of technology, I was watching the documentary on Netflix last night about the James Webb telescope. What we as people, as a humanity, as a race can do is absolutely incredible. To be able to put together something like that and get it up into space, to look at what's happening, where we came from, while at the same time, the same people, the same human beings are fighting over sand in the desert and are bombing the poorest people on earth for oil. It's just beyond me. It's ridiculous. The Chinese dragon one is amazing. That might have been, is that the one I saw? I can't remember, but it did look very, very impressive. The drones, the fella that came here to do my dad's documentary, we seen him outside doing his drone work. It was only when we seen the documentary, I thought, geez, them drones can make even a shithole look gorgeous. I mean, it's not a shithole, but amazing what you can do. And it only took, it was just him on his own. He had the camera, he had all the mic equipment and everything. And he had his drone, and with that he made a fantastic looking piece of televisual art, which I think is shows me that I've got everything apart from the drone, and I can't make anything anywhere near as good as that. So the game has to be upped. Oh, a Labrador who's afraid of bangs and water. That is definitely not a good hunting dog. But I bet you he was a fantastic dog and a great companion. Oh, she was allowed to stay as a guard dog. Wasn't good at that either. Is that just too nice? Just wants to meet people all the time, no matter who they are. Even if they're wearing a mask and carrying a bag of swag over the shoulder. Give her a sausage and you can take the whole household, including her. Ewan, how you doing, mate? How's things? You alright? A YouTuber. Oh, I'm not. I'm not a YouTuber. I can't be. YouTubers are cool. You saw the Pleasureland guard dogs before. Hi, daughter. I take it, did you manage to get home okay? I'm sorry I couldn't come and pick you up, but I go live at 7:30 every Sunday, which you know, and still decided to ring me at 7:30, you absolute gobshite. Don't know where you get it from, must be your mum, can't be me. Got to be her. We are doing fine, apart from the fact that it's too bloody hot. Even now. Oh, it's starting to get dark home. Not busy at all. It didn't look as busy today as it did yesterday, did it? As I was dropping you off, there wasn't the same queues to try and get on the beach. Whereas the show itself looked better today than it did yesterday. Obviously the red arrows hardly being there didn't help yesterday. Don't worry, Ewan. She should have known. You know, it's the same time every week, and she's in most of the chats, so she should know what time they are. Do you have jelly beans? I do have jelly beans in the car for somebody in the chat, but it all depends on what kind of mood I'm in as to who gets them. Yeah, the typhoon earlier, it was crazy, you couldn't hear anything. Unfortunately, I mean, I could hear how loud it was from here, but it never come anywhere near. It does sometimes, it'll come over, sort of over the house a little bit. This year, nowhere near. So I didn't manage to get hold of any decent footage, which is a shame. You do have jelly beans, so happy days. My services are not needed. You've got another jelly bean pusher. The Lancaster was good earlier. Yeah. Same thing, you and I was outside the house earlier on. I managed to get a little bit of footage of it, and I've done a couple of shorts of the Lancaster going over our house as well. Just the sound is absolutely incredible. You can feel the power. The same with the Typhoon. When that decides to go into like a hyperspace the way they do, that feel, you can feel your chest rumble. It's absolutely incredible. But I like the sound of the Lancaster more than the Typhoon. It's proper old school. When you're watching old war films, that's what it sounds like. It was huge before. You had front row seats for all of them. It is huge, absolutely massive. Louise, you've seen my shorts. I best make sure to sit down and cover up then. Do you know what you can imagine? Rather than being like a typical kid these days, everything is seen through the lens, even when it's there in front of you. You're better off putting the phone down and just seeing what's happening. Far better. Oh, well, I've levelled up, haven't I? You've ordered a Mackey's who's being healthiest for boring people. Trust me, you want to watch your health as well. I can assure you of that. You really do want to watch your health as best you can. Next week there's going to be a WW2, a World War II parachute group jumping near your hometown to commemorate our Operation Market Garden. That is an absolutely incredible story of what humans can do. Because they had no right to be able to do what they did, but that should be amazing. Definitely try and take some videos of that. Even though, as I just said, don't just sit there with your camera like that, have a look what's going on. But if you can get some videos for us as well, that would be good. You're not congratulating Bot? Of course not, Mandy. Of course not. But I will, because me and him, we like that. We tick as teeth. Jess is dipping her Pringles into marshmallow fluff. Jess is disgusting. Jess dips chips into milkshake, doesn't she? Yeah, from the A Bridge Too Far film, yeah. That bridge has now been named after the one of the commanders, hasn't it? Hasn't it got a British or anglicised name? Yes, it's not normal dipping fries, McDonald's fries, into a milkshake. It's not remotely normal. That's the kind of thing that serial killers do. People like Jeffrey Dahmer and the Green River Killer and all them lot. BTK. All those bastard American psychos. They're the kind of people. What do you like to do of an evening? I like to watch YouTube and I like to dip my fries into my milkshake. Alright, yeah, mate. Get behind the glass. I haven't lived. Yes, I have lived. I've lived many lives. And in not one of them have I decided to dip fries into milkshake. You vile human. Definitely take after your mum with that. Can't be me. I've got taste and breeding. Sophistication. Know what I mean? Not happening. Definitely rubber room. You have to go into that room with the padded wallpaper, Jess. I'll get you a bit of merch, a merch, straight jacket. How's that? Positively mental Ashy's daughter. There you go. That's your merch straight jacket. Honestly, try it and you'll regret what you said. No, not a chance. Because I'm not a serial killer and I'm watching you from now on. You can't be trusted. I'm watching you in the car. I'm going to have to check your bag before you get in the car. Just to see if you've got any kind of weapons of dodginess. Not putting up with it. Not having it. Sounds evil. Sounds truly evil. Don't deny it till you try it. No, I haven't tried skydiving, and I don't want to do that. It's very positively. It's positively, but it's not mental. Now, dipping fries into milkshake is mental, and I'm positively not mental in that way. No, nah, Mandy, not having it, not trying it. Skydiving, I'm with my granddad on this. Why would you jump out of a perfectly serviceable aircraft? You put the parachute on in case the aircraft gets shot down, and for no other reason. By the way, I am absolutely terrified of heights, which might be the reason why I'm not particularly a fan, or wouldn't be a fan of skydiving. I don't mind being on a plane, not an issue with that. I wouldn't get on a stepladder on a plane because I'm scared of heights. I love mountain climbing, but you would never get me on a mountain because I'm scared of heights. Yes, Jess, you cannot spell. And dipping chips into ice cream is not normal. No, it's not normal. It may be the new normal, but it's not normal. It may be normal in the same way that NPC characters on TikTok is normal. That's not normal either. It may be normal for TikTokers, it's not normal for human beings, and it should never be seen to be. It feels very peaceful once the parachute is open. Can I just rephrase that? It feels very peaceful if the parachute is open. You did it over Texel. Right, well, to be honest with you, I can imagine if you jumped out of a plane over Texel, it would look rather nice. So I can imagine it's very, very peaceful, but not a chance I'll be doing it. Louis, no problem at all. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you sleep well and you feel better tomorrow. A little less kicked by the heat. Well, we all do actually, because I think everyone seems to have been feeling it a little bit here. You had mates that skydive regularly, man. They loved it. Of course, you'd have to love it to do it regularly. I don't get it. I sort of get it. I understand if that's your kind of thing. I can imagine that the relative peace and tranquility. I mean, it's not going to be too quiet when you've got the air rushing past you. But that relative peace and quiet, and then seeing the earth from a different viewpoint, must be amazing. But no, not happening. Not one. Not a chance. Texel is pronounced as Texel. I don't think I ever pronounced it while I was over there. So yeah, it's strange. Texel. Oh well, I live and learn. I thought I was doing all right as well with my Dutch lessons. Obviously not. Although I did, Schildpad did make its way back into the lesson a couple of days ago. It's been few and far between lately. There's been lots of fellas wearing yellow dresses for some strange reason, but now the Schildpad is back. Jess, you don't need to try it. It's not a whole new wavelength of life. It is lunacy. They tried bungee jumping, one got a nosebleed, the other broke his ankle. Nah, bungee jumping's another one. I can't be doing with anything from that kind of height, not a chance. Yeah, no. Everyone loves a Schildpad or a guy in a yellow dress. Duolingo especially likes those two things. And also a dog sleeping between two cats for some strange reason. But I like that. Bungee jumped in South Africa. If you're going to do it anywhere, South Africa doesn't sound like a bad place to do it. Much more scary than skydiving. I sort of get that. It's different, isn't it? I think being higher up as well, and you get completely out of the plane. You're not reliant on anything other than when your chute goes. It must be different than having something strapped around your ankles and being told you'll be okay. Nah, don't like the look of it. I thought once in the past maybe I could go and get hypnotised into not being scared of heights, but then no. I think being scared of heights is a good thing. It's to stop you doing things that can possibly hurt you. It's there for a reason. It's hardwired into your brain to stop you doing things that will put yourself at risk. So no. Did your mum bungee jump? I can't remember that. I know she went on the she went parascended. Her and our two friends, when we were over in Cuba, went parascending on a day that I was so hungover. I just lay outside by the pool with a towel over my head for about 8 hours. That wasn't good. That's what all-inclusive ale and Cuban rum can do to you. Never again. Never, never again. She had a picture of it. I never saw that. She's cray cray, and not in a good way, doing stuff like that. No, not having it. Not doing it. No skydiving. No bungee. I almost said budgie jumping then. Budgie jumping and parrot shoot. Oh no, not having any of it. And yeah, I think I used to climb trees when I was a kid. I can't remember falling out of one. So it can't have been caused by any kind of weird grief from doing that. So I don't know why I'm scared of heights. You have pictures of you cage diving with great white sharks. Jeez. How do we... Crazy stuff. They are... that must have been scary. Because, I mean, obviously they're not small. Massive with huge teeth, and they will chomp anything that you get the hands on. Anything they get the flippers on. It must be scary. I mean, some of those, especially South Africa, and I was watching a program. I think South Africa and obviously bits of Australia, where they have those super huge great whites, almost megalodon, like proper, ridiculously submarine-sized sharks. Scary. You're hanging half a tuna against the cage, which made them bang into it. Yeah, it doesn't sound the kind of thing that I'd rather get into. Nah, not having that. No jumping on budgies either. You and your falling out of trees and still not learned your lesson. At some point you'll have to learn it, mate, otherwise you'll end up spending a lot of time in hospital. We don't want that. Yeah, them sharks, I mean, the great whites, they are beautiful creatures, absolutely stunning looking things. And designed over millions of years to be the absolute apex, ultimate predator. Unbelievable. And yeah, is the bull shark is one of the most aggressive out there. It will eat anything. Most sharks won't eat humans because we're not their kind of prey. They'll sort of a quick nibble, realise that it's not the normal prey, and will just disappear. Whereas bull sharks would just try and snap everything they meet in half. Evil looking things. You thought you'd touch one on the head if it had swum by, but you were wiser than that. Yeah, you don't mess with them. Climbing up is fine, it's getting back down that's the problem. It is if by getting down you get down a lot quicker than you got up. That's where the problem comes. I've got a problem with climbing up. I mean, my mate used to do a bit of work for me mates, Mick and Mick, or the two Micks. And one of them, it was only down the corner actually. We had to go and paint, sort of restain the woodwork all the window frames and garage door and what have you at this fella's house, and the windows were so high that you got a cherry picker, and he got me in the cherry picker, and we only got halfway up towards the window, and my arse was going to the point where I almost bent the iron on the cherry picker by grabbing hold of it that tight. Me knuckles were absolutely white. I said, "You've got to get me down now." And he was laughing that hard that he could barely get the cherry picker down. And when I got out, I looked like I'd been drinking all day. My legs just wouldn't work. And him and Mick just pissed themselves laughing constantly. Thank you very much. This is a genuine phobia. I tried to break it by getting up there and helping you paint, but nah, it didn't work. I'm not doing heights. Been there, done it, or tried to anyway, not anymore. Told you, didn't I, on one of these? I was playing Grand Theft Auto, and one of the missions you had to land on top of a skyscraper in what looks like New York City. So it's supposed to, I think it's supposed to be the Empire State Building it was based on. And even then, just walking towards the edge and looking down like your character's supposed to do, I was sat on the sofa, I could feel my knees going, and started to feel a little bit sick. I thought, this is stupid. I'm not up high, I'm sat on the sofa. Why am I getting panicky? But it's because I am proper scared of heights. All kids are into climbing trees, aren't they? I'm sure that's where it comes from. If you manage to get up there and not fall down, you're alright. If you fall out of a tree, then you'd be scared of heights forever. Sure. Try an Oculus roller coaster. Jess, did we try that with your headset? A roller coaster. I know we did the David Attenborough, whatever it was called, Below the Sea, where you could just looking around and seeing what's going on. That was good. Did we do the roller coaster though? I think we did, didn't we? Although I can't remember, it was a few years ago now. Yeah, but they are scary. Those Oculus, the VR headsets are quite scary. I remember a video of Ronnie O'Sullivan, the world snooker champion, playing snooker with it on, and he didn't realise just how realistic it was, because he went to put his hand down on the table to rest to play his shot and fell flat on his face. Again, that's on YouTube. It was on a TV show. It was that realistic that he got carried away. Right, you see, you're scared of heights but love climbing. It's very difficult to get around it. Yeah, you can't climb without climbing. I have a tendency to be high. The roller coaster where you shoot targets on the way around, we definitely didn't try that. When you were younger, had a week, you did indoor wall climbing. That looks good, especially when you're fully tethered and there's no way you can fall off and hurt yourself. That's not too bad. You were afraid of heights, but worked around that by never looking down. So does that mean you're not scared anymore, even if you do look down, or does it come back to you then? Is it that easy to break that fear? Just get on and do it. You climbed the Church of England. Were you supposed to, Ewan? Or did you just, see your chance and I'm doing this? Up I go. Could see the full way down to the stairs. Oh, no. And yet you're still scared, fair enough. If you got the bottle to at least get up there and do it, fair play to you. I haven't, I just couldn't do it. You don't look down when you're on a wobbly ladder. No, because you don't get on a wobbly ladder. This is a life's lesson. Ladders, I think, are the things I've had the most nightmares about. So like watching the Fred Dibner videos, they're the ones that start to get me feeling a little bit sick, because I have this I don't know if it's a recurring nightmare or it's the one that sticks in my mind the most. It's grabbing hold of a ladder, climbing up, and then the ladder coming away from wherever it was attached to. Like that film, Jess, whichever, I can't remember what it was called, that film you were telling me about. But yeah, I have a constant fear of doing that. It's the falling away from it that just sticks in my mind all the time. I hate the idea of it. Don't do ladders, don't do cherry pickers. I'll do scaffolding, don't mind that. It's a little bit more enclosed, it's not an issue with that. But no, not a ladder. Yep. In fact, I don't like seeing anybody up a ladder. Was it this morning or yesterday, Jess, when I was picking you up? Oh no, must have been today 'cause it was picking Charlotte up, wasn't it? There was someone over the road up a ladder, and it looked sketchy. And I was glad when we managed to get away because I didn't like the idea of looking around and seeing someone diving headfirst towards the concrete. Well, probably not that he would have done, but I just don't like looking at it. Don't like when the window cleaner comes here either, because I don't want to hear the window cleaner bouncing off the patio. Yep, dropping you off as well. You at the same time. That's when it was. He was over the road from Charlotte up a ladder, and it looked proper shady. But he looked like he'd been doing it all his life. So yeah, wobbly step ladders on gravel are fun. Is that a Welsh indie band? It does sound Welsh indie band, doesn't it? Like Super Fairy Animals or Gorky Psychotic Monkey. Shout out to Charlotte there. Yeah, she was picking up this morning as a fella over the road, up a ladder. And it looked sketchy AF. Shout out to all the Pleasureland Mercedes morning massive. They're all sound. There's only one of them who's a pain in the ass, and she's the one who's in the front seat, unfortunately. Oh, you've got to put up squirrel houses, but they have to be 5 metres up. No, not a chance. Not a chance. There's an easy way of doing that. That's where you get on the phone and get some other dickhead to do it for you. 5 metres. No. I mean, I'm almost 2 metres myself, so it's not that far above me, but no. Once you get up there, it's 5 bleeding metres. It's too high. You have to take wobbly step ladder on gravel to fix your window. Ewan, again, there's a way of doing that without putting yourself at risk. Let's get some other dickhead to do it. Manly, glad you live in a bungalow. I would be as well. Be very thankful for that. You have a 6 metre ladder, so you should be able to do it. No. You see, to be able to do that, I would have to put the ladder in footings in the ground, and it had to be concrete within the footings. There would have to be part of the superstructure after that. That's the only way I'd get up them. No way on earth I'd be doing it with just a ladder. Oh, it's slightly different if it's the same as like a ladder going up a slide. One that's stuck into the ground. That's not as bad, but no. So you're typing left-handed because there's a cat on your right arm. That's okay. We understand that. No other animals on you. No chicks on the shoulder. Nothing like that. Alright, so and it was 10 o'clock and your mum couldn't close the window, right? At that point, yeah, you have to just grin and bear it. Get up there, get it sorted, SAS style, get in, get the job done, get out. Leave no dead bodies. Proper. That's fair enough. Jeez. It's still hot, innit? Definitely still bleeding hot. Jess watched and did nothing. Copy and paste that. Copy it now. You will be pasting it constantly throughout the evening because she's always doing that. All the chicks have moved to the chicken garden. How are they doing? Are they all right? You know, all thriving, doing well. Yes, make sure you got someone to hold the ladder, Hedwig. The door was closed on you as you were trying to bring the ladder back in. That does sound very, very familiar as well. Hopefully you won't need an ambulance. Just take your time. Make sure the person who is holding the ladder doesn't piss off to make a cup of tea or answer the phone or something. Oh, sorry to hear that. One of the chicks died unexpectedly this week. Oh, that's a shame. Little cuties then, weren't they? Suppose it is nature. We have to get used to stuff like that, but it's not nice when it happens. They're little proper personalities as well. Oh, such a shame. Only one little chickie left. Well, hopefully that little chickie grows up to be a proper fully fledged chicken, yeah. Literally a fully fledged chicken. It happens, but it's still sad. Yeah, it does. That's exactly what happens. That's nature. But of course it is still sad, and it's horrible to see. That's what makes me think the people who make nature documentaries, they must be so invested in some of the animals that they've been following for months and months, and then to see what happens to some of those animals, they can't get involved. They just cannot get involved at all. Nature's got to take its course, but it must be horrible for them. Jess is getting hungry. Sorry, yeah. Right. She always is. And she after more and more foodage. And it'll be shite as well, won't it? You need emergency jelly beans for situations like that. Are you hoping to get a rooster? Be prepared for the amount of noise. They are so loud. That fella who had one down the road from us, that was like 4 o'clock in the morning. Even drunk and dead to the world, it still got woke up by a evil, evil thing. Yes, Jess, you need your food. Proper food. Not the usual shite that you eat. Proper stuff. You have a temporary rooster named Plouse now. Temporary rooster. Does that mean you temporarily have a rooster, or he is just changed to a rooster for the time being? Or is he like a dog or something the rest of the time? It's like, occasional tables. What are they the rest of the time? Oh, Han. Alright, so he moves out when you get your own new rooster. There's only room for one of them. And he has to move out. But if you get your new one, you should be alright. It's a different breed. Right, so you need to get yourself your own proper one. Good. Plouse in the house. Plouse in the hen house. They are fantastic looking things, aren't they? Those roosters. I mean, I'm obviously the phrase cocksure comes from them, and you can see they've got attitude, proper attitude. Do you know what the score is? Do you know who's in charge? The farmer thinks they are, but no. The rooster's in charge. He says what goes. Is Plouse destined for the field? Is that a euphemism for, is he about to get his neck wrung or something? Is that what that means? Or is he literally just, off you go, lad? Oh. Right, so if no one wants him, that's it. He'd be turned into a pillow. Poor old Plouse. I hope someone takes him. Oh. Nature, man. It's horrible, isn't it? This chair's going to get thrown through the window pretty soon. Cannot get comfy on it. Alright. So, if there's too many roosters, the overspill goes to the sheep field. After a while, they disappear. By disappear, do they disappear into foxes' mouths and things like that? Oh. Right, so you've combined chats now. You want a McChicken sandwich? Get one. In fact, yes, go and take one round to Mandy. Put them on Marktplaats. See if anyone wants them. Alright. Like Facebook Marketplace for poultry. Buzzards and foxes, yeah. Buzzards, they're stunning looking creatures as well, aren't they? I've got a picture somewhere actually. In fact, it might be on my Instagram of a kestrel. So obviously it's a fairly small bird of prey. Also absolutely gorgeous looking things. Seems to be all those raptors, all those eagles and falcons and what have you. Buzzards, falcons, eagles, kestrels, all look absolutely stunning. Absolutely gorgeous looking things. But they are evil. Built to be evil. I always thought when I was a kid growing up, we had a book and you had the picture of a peregrine falcon. I thought that the peregrine falcon is just the most gorgeous looking thing I'd ever seen in my life. It does about 6 million miles an hour. Eats anything that moves. Marvellous looking things. Right, so are you in Bon Appetit? Barnsey, how you doing, mate? Yeah, I suppose you're right there. Give them a fighting chance or snap their necks. I think give them a chance. That's the way to go forward, definitely. They have a fighting chance and they will fight. They're not daft, are they, roosters? They will get stuck right in. Must be horrible though, being in that position where they're just bouncing around amongst all the chickens, living their best life, and all of a sudden they're thrown into the middle of a field where there's foxes, buzzards and all kinds of other animals who are trying to off them every couple of minutes. But again, it's just nature for you, isn't it? Probably had a good few years of absolutely living the high life, so can't complain really. Oh, this is too hot and I forgot to shave my head earlier on. I have to get the clippers out and give myself a skinhead because this is getting too hot, far too hot. Every day. And unfortunately this bedroom is on the ground floor. So last night when it was roasting I had both windows open and I can't leave them open because they're fairly big windows. Someone could be able to just jump in and nick all my gear. Can't be doing with that, can you? Can't lose me camera. No chance. Yeah, sure, but sweet taste of freedom. Yeah, you have to switch the roosters anyway, of course you do. They obviously don't care, do they? If it's their own young or not. Just a chicken's a chicken. Any hole's a goal. Yeah. See, the state of it. Just, it's terrible. Too much grey. Too much hair. It's got to come out. Yeah, you can do it once or twice, but then they get too inbred. That's the whole point of nature. That's why we had the Habsburg jaw. All the royal inbreeding led to everyone being born with this strange, deformed jaw, because they wouldn't marry outside their own sort of family. We can't have that. That's why even lions, male lions, part of the pride, they reach a certain age and then they have to go. No choice about it, they have to go. And you've got to keep diversifying the bloodline, otherwise you just breed. I don't know. I don't even know what you'd say. You weaken the breed so much to the point where you wouldn't be able to carry on. So you've got to keep going to strengthen things, strengthen the bloodline. Yep, had a week. Grey makes men distinguished. Mine just makes me look like I've been clearing out a shed full of cobwebs, unfortunately. Nothing distinguished about me. That needs to come off, as does that. I look sort of vaguely homeless. We can't have that. Can't have that at all. Where are we? Was Botrix logged out again, has he? Loyalty, let's have a look. Well, we're doing alright. I mean, obviously, Botrix has kicked everyone out just for about 5 minutes, but I've now got 3 pages of people on the leaderboard, which is a very, very good sign. Although saying that, I'm on one of them, so. Yeah, level 3, you right there, Barnsley. Doing well. Mandy hasn't cheated yet. Don't forget, I have the power. I can change everything. I can reset everyone's points to 0 if I want to. Not that I'm going to. Everyone's worked hard to get to where they are. Yeah, we're doing alright. 3 pages worth of people. Surprisingly. It's good to see. Nice to see the engagement. Everyone getting stuck in. Yes, right, Eric. You would say that too if you'd cheated. No cheating going on. But actually there is. I think Botrix is cheating because it's kicked people out, or it's kicked me out anyway. I'll have to log back in, and he still hasn't appeared yet to say hello. Yeah. Where are you, Botrix? I don't know why it kicks me out. I have to log in before every stream. I don't know why. I should just be logged in because I don't really log in onto any other computer. Strange. Yep. Wabbit's fault. Alright, how do we feel? To bed early today? A rough few weeks. Not good to hear. Hopefully we can make things a little bit more enjoyable, a bit more able to deal with rough weeks, because we've got our own little community of people together. I know I find a bit of solace in that myself when I'm struggling. It's nice to just have people that will lift your spirits, and the RDA definitely is that. It's good to see. Oh, there you go. Botryx has appeared again. It took bloody long enough. Crazy. Hang on. Yep. Everyone's getting extra points. I still cannot for the life of me work out where these points lead to. Do you have to get to 1,000 and then it goes back? It just doesn't tell you. And there's nothing on there. You can't even click on FAQs to see what it says. Absolutely nothing. There's a Discord, but I think it's just full of people who use Botryx trying to work out what it is. And no one's got any answers. Welterusten hadden we. Goedenacht. Hopefully see you tomorrow with another fantastic flower pick. We're not going to have them much longer, are we? Flower picks. Notice that. Just on me little bits of me jaunt occasionally. There's just not as many flowers out anymore, and starting to get the little brown leaves on the floor. So before we know where we are, it'll be freezing cold, icy, and it'll be nothing. Shame. I've enjoyed the spring and summer going for my walks. I do miss doing that. The little stroke walks where I go and have a wander around and see what's happening in the street. I will miss doing that. Hopefully by next year I'll be a lot stronger and able to walk a bit further, because I fully intend to carry on doing that if I can. I'm not saying that I won't go on winter walks, but until I'm 100% on my feet, I do not think I'll be doing that very often. Mandy, your roses started blooming again. It's been a strange year. Our flowers in the garden have barely bloomed at all this year. The damsons haven't come out. I think we must have had a really, really hot spell with very little rain when they were supposed to be starting to plump up a little bit, but they didn't. Yeah, the weather's probably confused them. Though I think the weather over here confuses a lot of things. We seem to have every year where it gets to spring and we'll have a week of really nice weather. The daffodils will come out, and then a couple of days later there'll be a frost and every daffodil in the UK dies. So we get daffodils for about 2 days a year. Ridiculous. It's definitely not getting any cooler, mind you. I'm sat here with a lights on me. Got the heat coming off the computer as well. No wonder I'm burning up. Oh. And now there's a massive spider the size of a bat on the window. Get out. Go on, son off. Bloody thing. Right, it's gone. It wasn't even a spider, it was some... yeah, we don't have a greenhouse. We've got a shed with the lawnmower in it, and yet we have gardeners that turn up every couple of weeks, so don't even know why we've got a shed with a lawnmower in it. It's crazy. Someone was asking, why do you have a gardener? Well, my mum and dad are both in the 70s. My dad's had heart surgery. I've had a stroke. So I can barely walk around the garden, never mind walking around pushing a bleeding lawnmower. That's got to be done. So, yeah. Your yellow ones normally only bloom once. Are they different? The different coloured roses? I mean, do they have like different life cycles and what have you? Do they grow bigger, taller? The red ones normally do it twice, the yellows just once. Back cam activated. Oh, you got plenty of bats around you, have you? We hear them around here regularly. Bats and the occasional owl. You never see them. It's just strange. Should be able to see bats, really, shouldn't you? They're that black. As soon as you see them against a street light, they should stand out. But no, they never do. We used to have owls in the cemetery over the road from the pub that we lived in as well. Used to hear them very loudly of a night. Hooting. Amazing things. Yep, normally yellow, then multi, then deep red. Barnsley, you've got mini yellow ones. Do people still grow roses? I mean, obviously they do because we're talking about them now, but do people grow roses the way they used to, sort of back in the 60s, 70s and 80s? Everyone used to have a rose bush, didn't they? Or seemingly to me, everyone had roses. Don't think you see them that often, or not as often, anywhere near as often as you used to anyway. Mind you, I suppose when you're a kid, you have a tendency to push your mates into rose bushes, so you will notice them quite a lot. Whereas when you're suddenly 50, no one's pushing you into rose bushes, so you don't even know if they're there or not anymore. Roses are timeless, they are. Or at least they should be. They shouldn't come in and out of style because they're just the roses, man, aren't they? Love the roses. Should we go and have a look at what Kippers is up to? Shall we?
Kippers kicks ass.
Police rushed the report of a ritual mass killing, but it was just a yoga class. Police in Lincolnshire, England, told multiple outlets that a concerned onlooker incorrectly reported the crime with good intentions. Kippers says, "Stop gagging in, you nosy bastards."
Kippers kicks ass.
For the slightly confused amongst you, gagging in is people being nosy. It's a Scouse phrase. When you're gagging in, you're putting your nose in when you shouldn't do. Stop gagging. Sometimes you'll be referred to as a ham and egg. Kirsty, you need to go and charge your phone. You need more chargers. I won't sing your song, but you know, you need more chargers. Barnesy, your neighbour had loads in his garden, but he's getting too old for gardening. I think maybe that's what's happened. All those old fellas that I saw when I was a kid growing up, everyone had a shed. Everyone was really good at growing stuff, so that the gardens all looked really nice. All the old fellas had their little roses, and now, nowhere to be seen. It's weird. Hopefully they do come back. They should do. They make gardens look great. They do seem to be, I don't know, in my mind, to be very 70s, the same as rhododendron bushes. I don't know if that's the right thing or not. Should they still be consigned to the 70s? People still buy them. Valentine's, everyone buys roses because they are a thing. No singing songs, Ewan, no singing songs. I tried to sing in the car the other day and it appears that the stroke has broken my voice. Ridiculously. Even my own songs I can't sing. Which is a shame. I was hoping at some point, if I could slightly improve, to be able to get some of them down and record them. But that seems a long, long way off. I hope it improves. Yeah, be out there every day, beautiful garden. It is a shame that, Barnsley. I used to love that. I say when I was growing up, there's people that used to take huge pride in how the gardens looked, to the point where they'd almost be on their knees with a pair of scissors, cutting the grass, making sure that the edges were all perfect. I think that's stupid doing that, going to that extreme. But then you would look at it and think, you know what, fair play, they have done a fantastic job there. Doesn't seem to be the same kind of thing nowadays. I live in a really nice area, and there's lots of people around here have got lovely the front gardens, lots of nice plants, but someone's put in astroturf, and it just looks stupid. I think for the sake of 10 minutes once a week, getting out there with a lawnmower, what are you gaining? Making your house look ridiculous. Yeah. Alright, so you're doing the wildflower thing this year. So you should, Mandy. I think more people should do that. Proper, just see what comes up. Wildflowers. It's better for the animals, it's better for the insects, it's better for the whole food chain, it's better for the countryside, it's better for all of us. I know it'll be a bit of a pain at times when you've got loads of bees and things going around stinging all and sundry, but again, that's nature, that's the way it's supposed to be. We need more wildflowers. I know there's a lot of farmers who are giving over land, even if it's just sort of in between where they've dug up. They'll leave one little strip of land where it's all wildflowers. Even that's enough to make things come back. Because I think we are ruining the countryside bit by bit. Weeds or wildflowers. Yeah, we call them weeds because we can't control them. When in fact, that's how nature is supposed to make them. They're supposed to be like that. They're supposed to grow a hell of a lot and very quickly. Because they are wildflowers. They grow like wildflowers. Stupid. They look better. There's that little bit round the corner from me, which I've shown on my walk. It's 3 old tree stumps. On one of them, they put wildflowers round there, and every year there's something else there. But this year, I think it was cornflower and something else. Loads of red and blue and purpley flowers. Look gorgeous. Right, so you have cut the grass with scissors. It must have been during the breakdown, when life went awry and askew. But I'm convinced there was people back in the day that were proper trimming the edge before we had Black and Decker trimmers and what have you. They would be there with pairs of scissors cutting the edge. That's when every fella had a shed, had their own shed. I'd spend hours and hours in there every day. To this day, I want a shed, but I want a proper owl fella shed, a potting shed with a radio in there, where you can go and just sit for a couple of hours when people are pissing you off, and pretend to do garden work, oiling your shears or whatever, repotting plants, something mellow. I mean, it sounds fantastic, apart from I'd be worried every 5 minutes that there'd be a rerun of the greenhouse scene from Scum, and we don't want that, do we? Alright, so it was the lawnmower broke halfway through. Fair play. Had to be done, I suppose. Was it big scissors though? Or was it the little tiny ones? Were you there for ages? Did it turn out alright? Did it look okay? Did you get over it? Is it zen to do stuff like that? You always see people with the little tiny clippers and bonsai trees, and they seem to get this whole sense of peace from just sitting and looking at the bonsai tree and snipping little bits off? Is that the same with the garden, or was it just a stream of abuse and effing this and effing that? I can imagine it would have been a pain in the ass. You had a massive blister. That on the hand, on the fingers, on your knitting fingers. Not good. Oh, the lawnmower. I still haven't been to the British Lawnmower Museum, have I? I keep meaning to go there, and then I say I haven't got any time, and then I'll have a week off or something and still don't go. I need to sort that out. Definitely need to sort that out. Yes, were they round and the scissors, were they plastic? Were they the ones that you couldn't cut paper with at school? Were they the ones? Were you able to run with them in absolute safety? No worry about taking eyeballs out? Were they scissors that they never warned you about on those old films? Not trusted with the pointy ones. That does not surprise me. Never run with scissors. That's a public information film right there, isn't it? Don't run with scissors because you'd end up shivering your brother or something. This is still too bloody hot. Anyway, we've been on for a while and I am starting to get shattered and heat stroke. I need to go and have a proper drink. And by proper drink I do of course mean alcohol-free red wine. I had a bottle of Beck's Blue last night. I've got another one in the fridge actually. I might have one of them now. I've not had one in ages, and it was lovely because it was red hot. Just that one bottle barely touched the sides. It was fantastic. Don't run with knitting needles. Yeah, have you ever seen The Mighty Boosh? An episode called Nanageddon, which is fantastic, and a nan is quite evil with knitting needles in that episode. It's one of my favourites. Great music in it as well. Well worth the watch. Yeah. But yeah, I think I might go and have a Beck's Blue. Live the high life. I've even got Doom Bar Bitter. Might have one of them. Might even combine them. Have a pint of gold. How's that? I don't think we've got any pint glasses anymore though, to be honest. Probably one of the only households in the northwest that hasn't got stolen pint glasses from the pub. But you know, yeah, it's worth watching. Genuinely well worth watching, Mandy. It's a funny episode. The music is great, but the knitting needles might give you some good ideas on how to deal with nuisance callers to the bungalow. Nuisance fireworks salesman to the bungalow. Jab in the face. Right, yeah, anyway, so thank you very, very much for joining. Sorry I've got no bleeding energy whatsoever because of this heat. Hopefully Tuesday or Wednesday, whichever one the next one is, I will be a bit more lively. And if you've got anything that you've seen in the on the internet, in the papers, anything that you think Kipper would like to kick ass against, just let me know. And you never know, you might make it onto the stream. And then if you do, of course, it'll be enjoyable. But yeah, cheers, and I will see you during the week. Thank you very much. Bye bye.